In this video, we will show you how to replace your HID ballast control module on this Acura MDX. This will be attached to the bottom of your headlamp assembly. Let's get into it. Under the front corner of the vehicle, you're going to find that you have several push clips making their way all the way across the front of the vehicle, holding the bumper cover in place. Let's start removing those. To remove your push clips, I'm going to use a trim tool. You can use pretty much anything as a small prying device. Just go ahead and start prying out the center to unlock each one of the push clips, and then you should be able to remove the outer portion as well. Now we're done along the bottom, we're going to start making our way up inside of each one of the wheel wells. There's going to be two pieces of mounting hardware for each side. Typically you're going to use a Phillips head. This one looks like it's been replaced. I'll be using a 10mm. The next one's going to be located up inside this port right here. Now you should be able to take hold of that bumper cover and start pulling it out and away from the fender. Now that we have the hardware out of there, we'll just go ahead and tug this out and away. Now we're going to have a look deep inside this area for our fog lamp assembly. Now down here, you can see that we do have two bulbs and connectors. You can either disconnect the connector from the bulb, or you can disconnect the bulbs from the assembly itself. Sometimes it's easiest just to go ahead and remove the entire bulb. If you do so, just be extremely careful with it. There's one. This one in here, I'm just going to take out the bulb. It's easier that way. Now let's pause on this side, go over to the other side of the vehicle, repeat this exact same process, then we'll meet in the engine compartment. We're going to start removing this complete upper panel here. Go ahead and remove that plastic panel, quick inspection, and set it aside. Now that we have that cover out of the way, we can see that there's four more pieces of hardware holding this on. We have a push clip on each side and a 10mm headed mounting bolt. Just make sure we're holding onto that front bumper cover as we continue on. Now you can take hold of that front bumper cover and grille assembly and remove it from the vehicle. Now let's start focusing on this metal bracket that's located underneath our headlamp assembly. If you were to start on the outboard side here, you're going to find that you have a 10mm headed bolt hidden deep down inside this area. You'll just have to make your way right in here with a small 10mm using a 1/4-inch drive. Now we'll make our way over towards the other side of the bracket. There's two more 10mm headed mounting bolts to remove. Let's make our way along the top of the headlamp assembly. Now in this area, you're going to find that you have a 10mm and a small push clip. I'll start with the push clip here. On this one, it looks as though I have to go ahead and push in on the center to unlock it, and then I can remove the outer portion. We'll continue on to our 10mm. Now we'll take this lamp assembly and we can rest it up along the engine compartment here. Looking along the bottom is where you're going to find that control module. We can disconnect the electrical connector first. There's a small locking tab. Just go ahead and press that in. Disconnect that. Continuing on, we have 3 Phillips head screws to remove. Last one here, we'll make sure we're holding onto that module. Go ahead and take hold of that, give it a light wiggle, and we'll start pulling it away. Now along the bottom area here, you're going to find a small rubber grommet. Go ahead and take hold of that, slide it out of position. Now we'll take hold of the wiring harness and disconnect it. Now over on the bench, we're going to have to remove the gasket from the original control module, and we're going to transfer over to the brand new one. For this, it's easiest to remove if you carefully use a flat blade razor, and we'll gently skim along this area and then pull it up and away. Be careful not to tear it. We will be using this. Go around a couple times. There we go, it's starting to lift up now. Now on the control module itself, it does actually have a small lip that you'll have to make your way up a little bit and then start pulling it away from that as well. Now it's common to still have some of the pre-existing gasket on the control module. We'll go ahead and transfer this over to the new one. Just go ahead and rest it right in place on there. If it still has some adhesive, you can press that on. Let's get this installed onto the headlamp assembly. Let's start with the electrical connector. For this, you want to make sure you have it in the proper alignment. We'll just go ahead and line it up, press it in, listen for a click from that. Give it a light tug, confirming it's properly seated on there. Continue on with your small rubber grommet. We're just going to press that on as well. Make sure it has a good seat all the way around. We'll just double check our gasket to make sure that's still in place. And now we can start getting this in position, aligning all three of our mounting bolt ports. Now while holding it on there, go ahead and start in all three of your mounting screws. After they're all started in, you can go ahead and snug them up. Double check, make sure that's properly secured to the bottom of the headlamp assembly, and we'll continue on with our wiring harness. As for the wiring harness, we have our locking tab. We'll make sure that's facing in the proper direction, which would be the lower portion of the headlamp assembly. An audible click, a light tug. We'll start bringing the headlamp assembly back down into position, aligning the upper portion here first. So just go ahead and start pressing it in there. Nice and easy. We have our push pin for the corner. We'll push in the outer portion, lock it in with the center. 10 millimeter for the upper piece of mounting hardware here, and then we'll also have 3 more 10 millimeters along the bottom there. It's easiest to get this in position if you're using a magnet. It's going to come right through the side. We can get it aligned, press it in. Here we are. Start turning that in by hand. Now that we have all the hardware started in, let's go ahead and snug it up. As you're snugging, you need to confirm everything's properly seated along the way. Okay, right there's bottomed out. We'll just take it a tiny bit further, confirming it's properly secured, make our way over to the next two. Now we're up along the top. All we have left is one last 10 millimeter. Okay, let's get ready to install our front bumper cover assembly here. We're going to take this and we'll press it up into position. Up along the top is where we're going to start. Go ahead and align this and we'll start in our 2 upper mounting points. Start with our push clip along each side. Go ahead and drive that in. Now it's time for our 10 millimeter headed mounting bolt for each side. Once you have them bolts started in, you can go ahead and snug those up. Now with the top in place, we're going to carefully pull away on the outer corners so we can start installing our fog lamp bulb and also reconnecting our connector. Let's go ahead and get them in position. If you did dislodge the entire bulb, you just want to go ahead and line it up, turn it clockwise to lock it into the proper position. We'll continue on with our electrical connector for the outboard one here. Press it in, listen for a click. Now we can start swinging this down and along the headlamp and the fender, getting it in position, and we'll go over to the other side of the vehicle to repeat this process. As far as the inside fender liner, you want to make sure you have it tucked up on the inside of the bumper cover. If it's not, you typically can pull this away, push it up in there, and then press the bumper cover back in. Continue on with your 2 pieces of mounting hardware for each side of the vehicle. We have the upper corner, And then as you make your way down inside the wheel well, you should have another piece down there. Do the same on the other side of the vehicle. Now we're making our way under the vehicle. We have several push clips to install, making their way all the way across the bumper cover. Before installing that, we need to make sure we have everything in the proper orientation so any shields are up and above the bumper cover. If you need to, you can flex things as necessary to get everything properly aligned. Continue on with those push clips. We just want to get them aligned. We'll press them up into position and lock them in with the center. Repeat the process down the line here. Now along the front of the engine compartment, we'll continue on with our plastic panel. Once you feel as though you have it aligned, go ahead and continue on with your 8 plastic push pins. Okay friend, we finished our installation. The next thing you need to do is make your way into the passenger compartment, test the functionality of your headlamp assembly. Assuming it functions as it should, go ahead and close the hood and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.